Well, good morning, and welcome to Mirador Television, broadcasting from the White Hart Hotel in Lewes, East Sussex. And a very nice morning it is, and so far it's reached 14 degrees. It was quite pleasant first thing this morning. Actually, it was about 5:30 I issued forth this morning. Quite pleasant indeed, and I'm happy to say that it seems as if it's going to stay that way. It's a little cloudy, and we can expect at some stage some high winds today. But other than that, at long last, it's an English summer's day. Why are we looking at a lettuce? Well, it's not because it's crunchy and good for you and nice to eat, all those things. But the reason that we're looking at the lettuce is because in the papers this morning, the Daily Star. You can always you can always guarantee that the Star will go off on some different tangents and give you a bit of a giggle. And its headline this morning is Britain's worst Prime Minister to hand out 14 honours. And it's the Order of the Wet Lettuce. So there you are. There is the lead story this morning from the Star, the Order of the Wet Lettuce. And here's what it says. It says, and the Star has a story under the heading Order of the Wet Lettuce about how former Prime Minister Liz Truss is handing out 14 awards in her resignation honours list, when a political commentator joked that Truss had roughly the shelf life of a lettuce before she stepped down as Prime Minister after 45 days. The Daily Star responded by testing the theory for a live webcam feed, and when the Prime Minister announced her resignation, nearly 20,000 people tuned in to congratulate the lettuce on ousting her, or outlasting her. Sorry, that's the wet lettuce that is the headline this morning, and we'll now go to the serious stuff. At least I think we will. We have to get rid of the wet lettuce first. Dear. Yeah, we do. If only we can find it. Looks as if we've got a permanent wet lettuce at the moment. Oh, there we go. Yes, good morning. And here I am in the White Hart. A little bit of headroom, I think, as I finish my coffee. Not finish it, wade through it. I had my first one at something like 6:15 this morning, and that wasn't at home. These days like this, I have struggled to keep my eyes open. Right, okay. Let's get down to some serious business now. The Daily Mirror is Tory immigration chaos, and it's got across the front, and it's got Suella Braverman pictured there, clueless, it says, when it comes to immigration. And we ain't got any pictures about immigration. That's my fault, because it was my turn to pick them this morning. So no immigration, so you'll just have to put up with my smiling face while I just read you what the Daily Mirror has to say. It calls the government clueless after just 15 asylum seekers boarded the controversial Bibi Stockholm housing barge. We have got the housing barge. Yes, we have. There we go. There is one of the housing barges anyway. There are plans for up to 500 men to eventually live on the vessel in Dorset while they wait the outcome of asylum applications. The paper also has a story on the one show presenter Angela Scanlon and reality TV star Zara McDermott singing, signing up for Strictly Come Dancing. Well, those are the sort of things that leave me a bit cold. I'm not saying they shouldn't be reported, but front page stuff. I mean, it just shows why we actually treat our politicians like celebrities, because that's what we have thrust under our nose. The fathers of Fleet Street were turning their grave if they could see what was happening now. So there we go. That's an old curmudgeon talking. Now, the Metro says Rishi's migrant barge opens. Not all aboard, it says. Not all aboard. The Metro is also leading on the barge, quoting the Care for Calais charity, saying its lawyers had stopped 20 people being transferred there. Like most papers, the Metro also features jubilant scenes as the Lionesses beat Nigeria to reach the quarterfinals of the World Cup. They only did it by the skin of their teeth, but they did it, and that's the main thing, isn't it? The Daily Express, Tory fury as lawyers block migrants on the barge. The Express focuses on how lawyers have been accused of profiteering from migrants after they blocked the barge plan. It also has a story on BBC presenter Nick Owen, who has revealed he has been diagnosed with cancer. I suppose it is a bit different pointing out well-known figures are ill to pointing out whether they're going to appear on Strictly Come Dancing. I suppose a lot of people are interested in that. So that's the Express. Now, the Mail is Suella. I'll wage war on crooked migration lawyers, she says. The Daily Mail is leading with a story about how Home Secretary Suella Braverman is launching a major clampdown on crooked immigration lawyers following an investigation by the newspaper. It says the newspaper, that means the Mail. It also has the Lionesses on the front page and a heading on why panic attacks can feel like heart attacks. Well, there we are. We all wanted to know that. The Daily Telegraph. Tory MPs revolt over a ban on oil boilers. Well, there's a switch, if you like. The Telegraph leads on how Rishi Sunak is being urged to scrap a net zero ban on new oil boilers, stating that some are saying it could be ULEZ for rural communities, referring to the Mayor of London's plan for a pollution charge. It also features an interview with actress Amanda Abington, who has denied being transphobic ahead of her appearance on Strictly Come Dancing. What's transphobic? That's a new one on me. Transphobic. Across fear. I have no idea. No idea what that means at all. There are many phobias and many phobics in the English language. I've not heard of transphobic, unless they're saying that she's in fear of the trans people. Possible, but that's a bit That's stretching a bit on the information we've got there. The Guardian, air pollution linked to global rise in deadly resistance to antibiotics. Well, there we are. It's air pollution. But well, let's read you what it says. The Guardian leads with a new study on how air pollution is helping to drive a surge in antibiotic resistance. It also has photos of England's women celebrating their dramatic win. Now, I would want to point out something here because I've had quite a lot to do with pollution, but not air pollution, but sound pollution. Sound pollution. And many scientists studying this phenomenon say that it is more dangerous and more harmful than air pollution, but that we simply haven't recognized it yet. And they were trying to raise money to start a theme park, a small theme, but a theme park. The plan was to have a number of chambers that people could go into. The first chamber would be representative of sound as it was in prehistoric times. The odd roar of the dinosaur, the odd crash of lightning. But other than that, almost relative silence. Taking you through a number of chambers through the ages to today, where the final chamber you walk into is Piccadilly Circus, and being met by the cacophony of noise that is in that little area of London on a day-to-day basis, to demonstrate just how strong and fierce a noise is compared to almost absolute silence. Now, the reason that this hasn't been built is because the promoters of it got the financing all right, but only if they could find a local council that would both host such a little theme park and would also not ask for any sort of backhander. And so far, they haven't found a council that didn't want some sort of backhander. They keep on looking. It's a sad indictment on our society. But anyway, air pollution is linked to the global rise in deadly resistance to antibiotics, so somebody perhaps might start to take this all very seriously. The Times. Rising wages forecast to ease the cost of living pain. Well, there are workers who want to work, want to see a rise in wages, and hopefully they will find that it will ease the cost of living pain. Now, is it the average pay is about to start rising faster than inflation for the first time in more than a year, raising hopes that the cost of living crisis could be easing. It also has a story on how ministers have warned immigration lawyers that they could face jail if they are found to be fabricating fraudulent asylum claims. So, if you're in active employment, your amount of wage is going to go up, it says. It's going to go up. Oh ho, how excellent that seems to be. But the important thing is that the suggestion is it is not going to fuel inflation, which is the big fear. Let's see, it's It's the Times is forecasting that, and many people will be delighted, I'm sure. The A-level grades marked down, no exception for teacher strikes. I don't actually see any teachers here, believe it or not. So perhaps what we'll do is we'll hide the workers, shall we? Yes, just with the flick of a switch, the press of a button, and magic, they've gone. So A-level grades marked down, no exception for teacher strikes. It says. The Eye is leading on a story about how the year's A-level results will not be adjusted despite teachers' strikes. Some experts are warning that some 50,000 students could miss out on top grades next week. So there must be a lot of nervousness in the ranks, wondering whether, in fact, you're going to be somebody to face a bit of a crisis. Because I suppose if you start to scale down the top, you've got to scale it all the way down. So somebody who just got a pass could easily find themselves failing. Oh dear, even though they actually passed. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? It really does. It makes you wonder. What sort of thinking goes into this? Surely honest endeavour should be rewarded and not go under the scalpel for political correctness. The Sun. Labour candidate in a Greenpeace protest. Keir's echo zombie, it says. The Sun leads on a story about how a Labour by-election candidate has dressed up as a zombie while campaigning for Greenpeace. The paper also has a photo of a woman rumored to be dating Hollywood star legend Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, there we go back to the celebrity again. Is I've dated all sorts of people, and thank God I've got away without anybody finding out. Oh yes, I can be as devious as the next person. Oh dear, what an admission to make! What an admission to make! But the Financial Times, surely that's going to give us something serious. Private equity equity offers discount fees as deal making and drought deters investors. In other words, people aren't putting their money into all sorts of things, keeping it safe at home, gathering just a few percentage points from the banks. And the FT says how European governments are facing high costs as they push green alternatives to gas central heating. Now, Rishi broke the ranks last week when he announced that he was giving out another 100 licenses for North Sea oil. Stuart Dolby points out it's not North Sea, really. It's west of the Orkneys. So way out at sea. Are trying very hard to rejuvenate or resuscitate the North Sea oil industry. And that signs an end to the speed with which everybody was barreling towards green, including us doing away with boilers and anything other than electric cars and so on and so forth. It's not that people are against such things. But what they've said is the time scale is like plucking a date out of the air. Is plucking stuff out of the air. And saying we'll get it all done by this time without any shred of evidence that it can be done. And now a sense of realism is creeping in, and the politicians have to backtrack. As well, we can't do it quite by then. And anyway, the ones the other, like the war in Ukraine and so on and so forth, has all entered into the combination permutation. We just simply can't do it. And what that does is it brings us back to this story. The the limp lettuce. So let me remind you what the Star said. The Daily Star: Britain's worst prime minister to hand out 14 honours. It says shameful gongs for Liz cronies, but some are so embarrassed they're actually turning them around and giving them back. So, Order of the Wet Lettuce, it says, and the story. The Order of the Wet Lettuce, about how former Prime Minister Liz Truss is handing out 14 awards in her resignation honours list, when a political commentator joked that Truss had roughly the shelf life of a lettuce before she stepped down as Prime Minister. So the usually irreverent Daily Star strikes yet again. Right, okay. Now it's 8:53. It's going to be a half decent day today, although we can expect a high pollen count as well. So if you're prone to sneezing and having disorders, breathing disorders because of pollen, be careful. Better that you stay in and away from things, because the high pollen count is going to create problems for people, particularly as the temperature rises. It's been seated at 16%, 16 degrees rather, with it being partly sunny for the last 2 hours. So it's not rising at a great rate of knots, but nonetheless, it is going to be warm. And if the pollution is as described, some problems for people. So there you are. Be careful. Excuse me while I slip on this. Oh, don't excuse me. Many thousands of people will be sitting at their desk, having an early morning cup of coffee, ready to do actual work. I'm the same. I'm having some coffee, ready to do some actual work. In 5 minutes' time, we shall say toodle-pip for another half hour. And then heaven only knows what we shall come back with this morning. Just to remind you that we shall be going on holiday, or at least we won't be broadcasting. We'll be here next week, but the week afterwards, or the 2 weeks afterwards, up until September the 4th, we're actually going to give everybody time off, because we don't actually take any. It's relentless, apart from Christmas Day and the odd national holiday. We don't go away at all. So we're going to take 2 weeks to brush ourselves down and get ourselves back into shape, get some of our programs back, because there's no question that we've gone through the summer and people have gone away, and there's a few other gaps in people's schedules and what they do and what they don't do. We really have sort of started to shred at the edges a little bit, and you can have too much of a good thing. My team have brought to you a whole range of things, from energy through to crime, through to alternative viewpoints, and quite a lot more. And we've done it for about 18 months without a break. And the best and the toughest of people, and believe me, I've got some tough people around me, it can do it can do so much before they actually start to wilt a little bit and start to find the pressure is pretty heavy, and they need a break to refresh. They need a break going away from the demands of being ready on this program at 6:30 in the morning, wherever you happen to be in the world, and to have your wits about you, and to have done your research, so that when you give out information, you're giving out accurate information, information that matters, and information that cares. So we have started to get a bit rough around the edges, and you'll just have to put up with that, I'm afraid, for next week. And after that, you don't have to put up with anything for a couple of weeks before we come back and we dash off into the wild blue yonder. So just a reminder that actually apart from the order of the letters, the main story remains immigration. And immigration has been at the forefront of people's minds and concerns from a whole different viewpoints for quite some time. I have to say, at least I recognize that this government is trying to do, foiled though they are, thwarted though they are by legalities and so on and so forth. The attempt by this government to do something about it has meant they are doing something. The fact that so many people have thwarted them means that we're in a still lockdown. Is nothing has happened to those that are here, and they keep on landing at a rate, thousands a week, until this little island is going to be so full is that one wonders what the backlash will be. Better that we should get some at least faulty or less than perfect solutions right now to see whether we can head off any potential trouble in the future. Okay, it's 8:59. We'll be back in about half an hour. And for the moment, it's time for us to say toodle pip. And toodle pip we will say just for a little while. So let's say that. Toodle pip.